Hello, listeners. My name is Charles Scott. The program I'm about to listen to is called Can We Talk? We come every single week and we have a lot of different information for you. It's not only informational, but also some of the things that we do is that we provide service. We own Tri-State Realty. I am the broker, and also my son here is the broker.
Yes.
And I'd like to
I was
introduce
waiting
Charles
for that part.
Jr.
He was on a rant right there, a tangent. All right, so this is Charles Scott Jr. How you guys doing today? As I introduce each show, I say if you've missed episodes, remember you can go on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Just type in Tri-State Realty Can We Talk. We have about almost 80 episodes now. And basically, like I said, my father was saying, there's a lot of information on there, not just real estate. We talk about taxes, credit, things that go out throughout the year, how the news and how it affects you.
You know, lately we've been talking about some of the changes in the real estate industry
Yes.
and how they would affect you. Everything is an adaptation. As things go high, you got to figure out some kind of ways that you can get involved. If you're looking to buy a house, there's creative ways. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is how to buy down the interest rate.
I was gonna say that people see this interest rate, and I always say, don't let the interest rate dictate whether or not you buy the house. You buy the house when you're ready, and when you're ready, remember to shop around for your mortgage. I always say people spend more time looking for a vacation than to do the mortgage because there's different tools that can help you. And today we're gonna talk about buy down. So it's called buy downs. When you buy down the mortgage rate.
A lot of times people are, like you just said there, you're talking about people, you know, when's a good time to buy? The good time to buy is basically, I think we had a little technical difficulty there.
Nope, you're good.
A good time to buy is basically when you're ready to buy, and that could be because your rental payments went high.
Yes.
So that's a good time to buy. If you're paying $3,000 a month for rent or $2,000 a month for rent, and it's going to be cheaper for you to go out and buy a house, well, I think that's a good time to buy because it's not like you're renting for free. It's a good, and it's also good for your pocketbook.
Exactly, and also I tell people these past, I'll say 2 years, we've had these interest rates above 5%. It's actually been like a return to normal. When I go see houses with my customers, back when it was 3, 2, 1% interest rates, be people coming out the windows. When I get there, people leaving. When I'm leaving, people coming in. What you want to do is don't let that interest rate dictate what you're going to do. Remember, you can always refinance in the future. But today we're going to be talking about buy downs. But remember, when you're ready to buy is when you're ready to buy. And then there's different ways when you're having a professional with you, an agent that knows what they're doing. I see people with these agents, they come down to where we're at, Fairfield County. They don't know how the area works. They get in the contract, and the contract falls apart because they didn't check for flood insurance. They didn't check for this. They had an FHA loan. There's chip paint. So always make sure you have an expert with you that knows what area you're going to be looking for.
You know, one of the major things I'd like to really put out there and talk a little bit right now is that a lot of people expected like the demand for housing to go down. One of the things that we're finding and going out here and people are amazed at is that there's a tremendous amount of demand for homes right now. And when we go to the tell them what happens, we go to open houses and putting offers in, there's a lot of people that are out there looking to buy. If you are going to be purchasing a home, and if you're going to be putting an offer in to purchase that home, you really have to be aggressive, and you have to be in a position to really, how can I say it, put your best foot forward. A lot of these properties, you may see highest and best. And highest and best means that so many people are looking to buy that particular house that the agent wants everybody at a certain time. Let's say, may say 5 days from now, we want the highest and best. Maybe explain to them, what is a highest and best?
So basically, let's say I put an offer in on Thursday for a house for $100,000, and then, let's say I put that house on the market for, let's say I put an offer in for $100,000, correct? On Thursday, let's say come Monday, the realtor says, you know what, highest and best due Wednesday. That means I have time to sit down with my client and say, you know what, we might want to put at least more money down because our offer is on the asking price. Obviously, they have some offers above asking. So let's go back to our mortgage person, sit down. Let's put $120,000 down. But with highest and best, it basically puts a deadline on when the offers are due. And it's pretty strict. Tell them, 5 p.m. They mean all offers in by 5 p.m.
Right.
Come 6 p.m., 7 p.m., they may not even take your offer.
Because it's only fair, you would not want to put your highest and best offer in and then have another agent come in the next day and put an offer in higher than your offer, and he's a day late. So therefore, you've got to, they're very strict. That means that offer got to be in by that hour, by that date. And then they will decide, who's going to be the person that gets the property. Now, highest and best means what it means. You don't have to be the highest even to get the property.
Oh.
It could be the best offer.
Could be the best offer. And people say, what's better than money? The most wins. Not always the case. I've had clients, I've had to sit down and say, okay, this offer is about $50,000 over our asking price. But we see the houses in the neighborhood are not selling for that much. Remember, the house still needs to be appraised by an appraiser, and he's going to determine the final sale price. And we may be getting caught in an offer that we want, or there may be better offers out there. For example, we may have an offer that came in right in the asking. They're putting more money down, or let's say it's all cash. I'll advise my customers, say that's better. That's a better, safer offer to take.
Also, when you're putting an offer in, and let's say the other offer, the people have to sell a house. They may say, okay,
All suitable.
They say,
finding housing.
The person whose house you're buying may have to find a house before they will sell the house to you. So we see a lot of times it'll say, seller subject to finding suitable housing. That means the offer you're putting in, you have to wait for the sellers to find a house before you could actually move in. Now, that might be okay if you're in no rush to close. Say, for example, you're willing to wait 2 or 3 months, but the disadvantage of that is suppose 3 months from now they still can't find a place to move to, and you bought their house. So now you become the landlord, they become the tenants because you've bought the house and you're giving them time to move out. Plus, when they move out, you don't know what condition the property is going to be in.
Exactly.
So that may not be the best idea for you to buy a house that's subject to the seller moving out of the house. On the other side of the coin, if you're willing to wait and you're able to, negotiate a deal, it might be good. Everything is subject to how you want to do it.
I was gonna say, for people that are in a rush, that's the greatest thing I say. It says suitable, them finding a house. That gives you more time. A lot of people will look at that and just run away. They want to move in a house ASAP. Whereas if you have time to wait, let them find a house, it could be a great, I'll say, diamond in the rough deal for you. While others people are in a rush, you can take your time. And also one we come across is houses with tenants inside them.
Oh.
And remember, if you have a house that has tenants in there, but we're going to put an offer in there, we're going to make sure we put in the contingencies, housing, closing date to be on this date or earlier if the tenants vacate the property.
And getting right back to what I was saying about the highest and best offer, maybe we put an offer in and we say, okay, we want the tenants to be out of the property when we buy it because you're renting to the tenants. So we're not going to close until the tenants are out of there. Now, someone else puts an offer in and they say, oh, that's no problem. We will buy the house and leave it up to us to get the tenants to move or evict or whatever it may be. We'll take care of that when we buy the property. So to the seller, maybe the other offer is the best offer because the seller is saying, well, hey, we don't have to worry about getting the tenants out.
Exactly.
So everything depends on the wording you put in your particular offer, whether your offer is the highest and the best. Like I said, it might not be the higher offer, but it might be the best offer to the seller. The other thing that we're running into a lot is possibly probate, where it's subject to probate court approval.
Yes.
Since right now a lot of people have not been able to get a listing where the seller is able to sell it right away, there's a lot of people who are getting listings, from family members that have probably inherited the house and they don't want the house, so they want to sell the house. But there's more than one owner. It may be 4 or 5 different children who inherited the house. In a situation like that, it's got to go to what they call a probate court, where everything there's a lawyer who's in charge or either an individual who's in charge of selling the house. and it has to go through the court system to make sure that everything is done the right way, and to make sure that the proceeds from the sale are evenly split up among whoever is supposed to get the money. Because once the money's gone, it's gone.
And that's another situation where if you have time to wait, a probate deal may be a good deal, because you remember, people that are trying to close fast or have short windows on their pre-approvals, they're gonna look for houses vacant, remodel, turnkey, ready to move in. Whereas probate, you know, it's gonna be at least a 30-day extra period for the review. If you have time to wait and, you know, you still have a steady income, you might wanna go after a probate house. You may get a discounted price versus if it was on the market, fixed up, ready to go.
That's true, because I noticed there, like I said, there's a lot more probate cases out there than before. And you know, most people associate probate with the person who's selling the house has passed away, but that's not necessarily true. You could have a situation where a person may have dementia, the person may have Alzheimer's, and they're no longer able to stay in the house, so they have to go to a facility. And what happens is maybe they have no relatives. And so they put an attorney or someone, administrator, executor, in charge of their estate.
Exactly.
And for the people to qualify for medical benefits or Title 19 or whatever it may be, one of the requirements is that the house be sold, because you can't just let an empty house sit there. There's no one living in the house. The owner has, there's no intention that that owner will be moving back into the house. And the owner just can't give the house to somebody if the state has put a lien on there, because they want to get paid for the medical expenses.
Yes.
So either you're paying for those medical expenses out of your pocket, or a relative's paying, or either they put a lien on the property. They want to get paid. You can't stay in a facility which is going to cost $200,000 or more a year, and have the luxury of having your house at the same time, so you can go back and forth. So, you know, something's got to give, unless, you know, we're not lawyers, we're not giving legal advice, unless you've got a trust or somehow a way you got it set up. Normally the situation is that the property has to get sold. And so then it's still subject to probate court approval. It's subject to everything being done, you know, the proper way. And when you buy that property, like you just said, there's usually, you know, it takes a little bit longer, because there could be an appeal. There's a 30-day, you know, period, unless it's waived, where they have to, you know, put it out there to see if anybody's going to object to the sale. But we do a lot of the probate sales.
Now, people may say to me sometimes, how do they find probate on Zillow and stuff? Remember, a lot of those facts about the house are going to be confidential to the agent. What you can do is give us a call, give me an address, I'll let you know if it's probate or not. Usually it's in the confidential agent notes. I'll let me know if it's probate or going through probate. And, you know, that's something you're interested in, let us know. You know, we work for a lot of probate. We're actually experts in it. And right now, in this inventory, this strict inventory market we're in, probate is making up a lot of the market.
Sure. If you're in a situation out there where you have someone who has to sell the property, if it's a trust, if it's probate, whatever it may be, in other words, give us a call. We can assist you, give you an idea of the value of the property, because one of the things you have to do is you have to find out, you know, what is this particular property worth.
Now, doesn't that cost money to get the report, the CMA?
Not from us.
Oh, what? It's free.
Free.
You hear that? You get a free
We don't
detailed
charge.
report. We know this area inside and out. We'll give you a free
Free,
report
free.
telling you how much your house could be worth if you put on the market this exact moment. Because remember, markets change. And that's a great tool. So people call us up just to get the CMA. And they hold it, you know, in their folder, and they come back to us every couple months. What do you think my house worth now? So definitely it's a good tool. Give us a call for a free CMA.
Yeah, some people are amazed at how much their home is worth.
Yeah, and those who are in a situation, because we had a client call last month, you know, the woman's mother had a reverse mortgage, and she thought the house was worth nothing, but they realized the reverse mortgage was taken out 20 years ago. A lot of equity has built in this house, and they realized, wow, we can still sell the house, pay off the reverse mortgage, and still have some type of equity.
And they still got paid.
They still got paid.
They still got money out of the situation. Versus before, it was actually upside down. If
Yes.
there was no way they could sell the house, because there would be any money left over. We have all kinds of situations that we get involved in. Sometimes it may be a foreclosure, where property is being foreclosed on, and the people do not realize that they got equity.
Yes.
If you're being foreclosed on, or if I'm talking to someone out there that's a listener, and you know someone who's getting foreclosed on and they got a foreclosure notice, give us a call, because there's hope. Even if the
Yes.
foreclosure is pending, people get up and they take off because they want to, escape being in the house. You don't want to do that. Stay in the house, sell the house, and end up with money in your pocket. If you owe the bank $200,000 and you sell the house for $300,000, that's $100,000 you get to keep. The other way, you
Exactly.
just run and you lose everything.
And they can still probably come after you for some of that debt. So I said the worst thing you can do is run. When you get those letters in the mail, if you don't understand what they say, give us a call. We can explain it to you. And remember, your mortgage has been sold. Remember, even though you got that mortgage from Bank A, it's been 10 years. Your bank, the servicer, could be a whole different company. So open all those letters. Don't think that they're junk mail, whether it says Mr. Cooper or your original mortgage company. You want to make sure you read all those letters because they could be very relevant.
And we have a list of lawyers that we can, refer you to, that can sit down with you and go into court to represent you if it's a foreclosure. Like I said, even if the foreclosure is pending and coming right up on top of you, there's still things that you can do to get a continuance. The bank doesn't want your property.
The bank doesn't want
The
your
bank
property.
would rather have you hold on to it a little bit longer and try and sell it, because after all, if they get the property, they got to worry about paying insurance, sending somebody out there to take care of the property, boarding the property up, hoping that it doesn't get vandalized, hoping the pipes don't get stolen.
Exactly.
All this maintenance. That's a lot of work. And the bank may be in California. Here's the property in Connecticut. And they got to send somebody out to do all this maintenance. So they'd
Pay the
rather you
taxes.
keep the property and sell it on your own.
The banks aren't in the business of being landlords. They're in the banks.
They're not landlords.
They're in the business of lending money. So they'd rather you stay in the house, take care of the house, and pay them their fee, their fee every month. So they're going to have tools. They may even negotiate the mortgage with you or put some of the debt to the back end. But we see that a lot on the website, the judicial website, strict foreclosure. But before that, there was a lot of chances they had to, show up in court and possibly extend it.
And still have chances. So if you're in a situation where it's a probate situation, someone's passed away,
Yep.
or someone's in a facility and the house is just sitting there, or if it's being foreclosed, give us a call. We can come out, do a market analysis for you, give you an idea what the property is worth, refer you to some agencies that can help you, an attorney that can assist you, and in the end result, if necessary, sell the house, and that way you get some money, and you also get to redeem some of that equity that you have within that particular property.
And for those, I know some of our clients call us, and they own multiple properties. They own one property that they live in, they have one that they rent out, and they may have a property that may have been in a fire or some damage in the last 5 years and it's just sitting vacant.
Those are still worth a lot.
So I would say in the past few years, we've sold a good number of fire damaged houses where although it's vacant and the second floor may have a little, charredness to it, it's still a structure. I mean, there's a lot of investors that will take that and they'll rebuild it up and then they'll still have a house. So give us a call. We can do CMAs for those also.
In some cases, the people will get paid by the insurance company,
Oh, yeah.
and then they can still turn right around and sell the house even though it's fire damaged and end
Yeah.
up with even more money. So there's all sorts of options that you may have. You want like give us a call and we can assist you with all of those different types of options that are out there. Now, but one of the things, I know time goes by so fast, I was talking about earlier, was the buy downs.
Yes.
If you're we're talking about right here, this can help both the buyer and the seller.
Yes.
If let's say the interest, right now they're talking about reducing the interest rates, but even if they reduce the interest rates, you can still do a buy down. What that means is, let's say the interest rate is say 6%, okay?
6%.
6%, and you're looking at what your monthly payment's going to be for 6%. Well, you go into the bank and you say to the bank, how much would it cost for me to buy down that rate to 4%? So they will give you a dollar amount. If you give them a certain amount of money up front, then they will reduce that interest rate from 6% to 4%.
Exactly.
Now, they could do a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1, where they will reduce that interest rate maybe for the first year, maybe the first 2 years, maybe for the first 3 years, maybe for the life of the loan. It depends on the mortgage company and the program that you have. So you could get that interest rate reduced from 6% to 4%. Now, that's good for the buyer. It's also good for the seller, because
Yes.
now it enables the seller to be able to sell the property to more buyers that are out there. And the more buyers, the more money the seller can get. And it helps the buyer because now you have a lower interest rate. That's called a buy down. So this is something that you may want to look at when you are talking about, interest rates.
One thing I was going to say is sometimes people may say, I asked my mortgage person about that, and they said that I can't do that, or maybe I'm not qualified for that. What I say is shop around, because there's
That's what I'm gonna say.
some people want to keep it captive because they're looking at that commission, unfortunately, and rather than your best interest. So I would say, remember, shop for your mortgage. Remember, they're all going to ask for the same thing, whether you're self-employed, make sure you have your 1099s, your tax returns, or if you're employed, make sure you have your bank statements, your newest paychecks. Because remember, they're all going to ask for the same thing. So I tell a lot of my clients, keep a little folder in your computer or keep a actual folder and shop it around. I mean, they're all going to say the same thing as far as we need this, this, and that. And you'll be surprised. There may be a lower interest rate out there for you or a program for you. And you may say, well, I've been dealing with this bank my whole life, but this bank has a better option for me. And that's another question I get a lot. Just because you've been with Bank A since 2005, since you were a teenager, don't mean you have to have loyalty to them to get your mortgage. Shop around for your mortgage, definitely.
The other thing also is that you have, let's say a lot of people that build homes, builders, new construction, or people that are looking to sell their house, they may pay for that buy down. You have a lot of the sellers or the investors that will advertise, buy my properties and I will pay the extra amount of money to the bank to get you a lower interest rate and buy down the interest rate so you can afford the property. So even if you don't have the extra money to give the bank, you could request or see if the seller is willing to give you the money to buy down the lower interest rate. So there's all sorts of things and creatively that you can do. And see, we know these things. Not a lot of agents out there and a lot of people may not be aware of these programs. You may not be aware of these programs. You go out and say, oh, the interest rate is a little too high right now. I'm going to wait. Well, why wait when you can get the seller to help you buy down the interest rate?
And one thing people don't realize, well, that maybe they do realize when it's too late, but remember, when that interest rate goes down, you're going to be ready to buy a house, right? So is your uncle, so is your aunt, so is your niece, so is your neighbor. So think about all the extra competition now in the field for that same house that you want versus now, interest rates are a little higher than normal, but with these techniques to buy down, these programs, there's less competition for you when you go look at these houses.
The more competition, price of the homes go up.
Yes.
That's been one of the things they did not expect. Even though interest rates go up or down, no matter what happens, what's been going on in the real estate industry lately is prices have been going higher and higher and higher and higher. And that's because of demand. Demand. There's such a demand for homes. When COVID hit, a lot of the building stopped. And it takes time to build the house. You just don't restock it and put it back on the shelf.
Nope.
And you got to go through, if you got the land, you got to buy the land. You got to get the permits. You got to get the lumber. You got to get the workers.
And you see, that's getting more and more expensive with the economy and inflation. That what you were seeing now is a lot of buildings are being repurposed into, say, workforce housing, condos, mostly luxury condos. That used to be old schools, old factories, even some old malls,
Because you can't find a lot of the different materials even to buy the house. I remember back in the during the COVID days, and I guess maybe they still got that going on. Builders were building houses, and they couldn't sell them because they might have required a stove or a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah.
And they couldn't even get the appliances to put inside the
Those
homes
are on order.
because of they had that big shipping embargo or
Yeah.
whatever it was. They'd say, oh, they're out in the ocean. They'll be here in 6 months.
And then not realizing your loan is a FHA loan,
You gotta have-
need that stove in there during the final walkthrough.
Right.
Or you're not gonna get financed.
So a lot of things have changed for the good, but we just want you to know that we can adapt. We have all sorts of programs.
Yep.
We can assist you with selling a property, buying a property, give you advice if you're, if you got a foreclosure, you got a problem pending. You'd be surprised. Today I got so many calls from people that may have a situation.
Exactly.
Mr. Scott, I want you to talk to my uncle. I want you to talk to this person here. This person's going through a foreclosure. This person over here is, I got one earlier. The person's moving down south and they need to sell their house. I got another one where, people get divorces and they have to sell the property to split up the proceeds because they're not living together. Or you have a situation where a person passed. There's so many different scenarios in real estate that create, what was a normal situation, it creates it into an emergency situation, and then there's changes that have to be done.
Now, I remember, I was going to also say, like my father mentioned, that a lot of people come to this with these, questions that can help you out because we may know about some off-market deals that can help you out. When they say, I've been looking for a house, I cannot find one. Hey, we might have one, perfect house for you. So definitely give us a call. Or if you're ready to sell your house, definitely let us know. Because like I say, right now it's been a great summer for our sellers, hasn't it? As far as
for the sellers.
open houses and other things we've done for them. And we do video tours. We really take care of your property when we put it on the market.
Yeah, that's the other thing too in choosing a realtor. Some of the things that we do, we advertise in the different newspapers, TV, radio, video tours.
Yes.
We enhance the property. We do the photos. We have professional photographers. There's a lot of different things that we do to give you the top value. And remember, this is not costing you anything because we're not charging you for these services that we provide.
Correct.
And we don't get paid until the property is sold.
How many times you get that call? What do you charge? What's your rate? What's your retainer? And they don't realize how it works.
Yeah, so, like I would say, if you would, give us a call. If you have people out there that need help, need assistance, we can answer questions. We'll find someone that can answer the questions.
Yes.
We deal with the banks. We deal with the attorneys. We deal with the
lenders,
the nonprofit organizations that can help you, give you advice, the government agencies. Like I've been doing this now going on 39 years, past president of the Board of Realtors, so I know a lot of people that can assist you and can help you. So, give us a call and sure that we can help you.
And people will be surprised. They think their credit is bad, but when then I tell them what's the minimum needed for their mortgage, go see this person. They'll say, wow, I'm qualified for a good amount. And then we start looking for houses, and they were just renting last month.
That's right. So hopefully this session has been, informational to you. If not, give us a call and we can do a one-on-one and answer some of your private questions. So until next week, God bless.
Amen.